All right, guys, it is your Alpha Game 3 week in review. Just a reminder, I'm in the middle of the KOM draft. So if you're also in the middle of the KOM draft, please make sure you're scheduling with your opponent right now between your picks. Pick up your phone, text your opponent, schedule the game for either after the draft or tomorrow. Make sure it gets done. I don't want to end up with a lot of sim games because of this draft. However, back to what we're talking about. Week 3, game of the week, AIM and his Titans went up against Tillman and the Seahawks. Seahawks were 2-0 going into this game. AIM was 0-2. AIM walks away with the win, 20-17. He never lost the lead after the first quarter. He had a 7-point lead going into the half. Mariota actually had a subpar performance for him, throwing for 159 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 picks. DeMarco Murray, not really much to brag about there. He had 57 yards on 16 carries for AIM. This game looks like it was a defensive struggle from the beginning. Neither teams were able to put up any big offensive numbers. However, boom goes the dynamite. That's the big game here. Death Wish and his Browns defeated is a polite way of saying beat the shit out of Black Shadows and his Colts by a score of 66-7. Death Wish improves to 3-0 on the season. This is the absolute worst beatdown that we have seen since Rodney King. Isaiah Crowell broke both the single season rushing record with 333 yards rushing. He also broke the NFL rushing touchdowns record with 6 rushing touchdowns in the first half alone. After that, it was just a major blowout. Death Wish was running clock the entire game. The only score that Black Shadows had was off a broken tackle on a kickoff return, which he returned for a touchdown. Browns had 11 sacks and 5 interceptions in the game alone. Other big games across the league. Shano and his Green Bay Packers defeated CP and the Bengals by a score of 31-30. It was a last-minute field goal for Shano. Shano finally gets himself a win, going to 1-2 on the season. Both teams, however, went off on the ground. Jeremy Hill rushed for 123 yards and a touchdown. Shano's backs rushed for 155 yards combined. So a good game there if you caught it. Bucks dish it out versus Vikings Bombs. Dish it out actually lost this game 28-21. Bombs does improve to 3-0 on the season. Bridgewater had a great game for him, throwing for 223 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Winston, however, threw 4 picks in that game for dish it out, so hopefully he can clean up his passing game. In my game against Puck and the Lions, I improved to 3-0 on the season by defeating him 34-24. I actually threw my first interception of the season, which is pretty damn impressive if you ask me. Puck had 5 turnovers. However, that game was actually a lot closer than that 10-point score shows. It was just a back-and-forth game, no defense whatsoever. In other games, T-Mac, 34 Bulldogs of the Rams defeated Crawdad and the 49ers. However, that shouldn't be a surprise because Crawdad is in Turkey. So if you play Crawdad up until the 14th, make sure you're playing the CPU. Tall Midget, he played the Jaguars. Tall Midget's Jaguars actually defeated He Died of the Ravens. Second consecutive loss here by He Died, but at least He Died scored some points, 24-16. Tall Midget improves to 3-0 on the seasons. Also, Bloom King gets his first win of the season, defeating Sean Death and the Panthers, 35-28. Is Bloom back in the game now? Can we count on him for some wins? Is he going to lay over in this division? I don't know, but he had no turnovers in this game. So Breeze went off, 339 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, 0 picks. Week 4 coming up. Game of the week. Straight Coach's Bears going up against Shano's Packers. Is Shano going to be able to carry his momentum into Week 4 after that devastating defeat in CP? CP was seen crying over in the corner with his little dunce cap on, wondering, no, how did this happen? How did this happen? He only had 23 seconds. He drove down the field. It's unbelievable. I'm CP. That doesn't happen to me. All right, so that's maybe not what happened, but that's how I pictured it. Jones Nose and his Bills going up against Freight Train and the Falcons. Both teams, we started off the season pretty strong. The Bills are 2-1, Falcons 3-0. Can't wait to play this game against Jones Nose. I've never played him before in my life. Steelers, Shill. Is it Chill or Shill? I'm going to say Chill. Versus He Died and the Ravens. We're going to just call this one the Shit Bowl. 0-3 teams, both of them looking for the first win on the season. So one of you still going to remain a loser. The other one, guess what? Gets that win. CP and his Bengals go up against Death Wish and the Browns. Huge divisional rivalry. CP is 2-0, facing off against Death Wish, who is also 3-0. So this should big implications there for the division. Browns and Bengals made a major trade in Week 3. For the Browns acquired Vontaze Burfict. Is he going to be the deciding factor? I don't know. Is CP ever going to be able to replace him? We shall see. Titans and AIM versus Watts and the Texans. It's another huge divisional rivalry in the making here. This game. One of these teams has to get their shit together, or Tall Midget's going to run away with the division easily. Both teams currently have losing records. So we'll see how that one plays out. And finally, the last big game, Raiders show out versus Broncos, Marac. It's a huge divisional game here. Both teams come into this game with a record of 3-0. Whoever wins this game is going to take the division lead. Now, I'm anxious to see how RAC plays here, knowing that his last 2 games have been forced sim wins. So RAC's 3-0 record, not all that impressive when you look at it. It's 2 sim wins and actually 1 beatdown of Texas Boy, and God knows we don't count because he's just a carpet. Is Showout going to be the real deal? I don't know. We're going to find out. It's the first of their 2 meetings for this season. But that is your Alpha Week 3 in review. It's the Commish signing off. Back to the draft.